Unmuted. There we go.
Mike's still on, your mic on?
All right, I think we're good.
Yeah, Mike's gonna stay on for this vote and then he's leaving, I think.
Seriously?
Okay.
Mine's on.
Is it?
We're good to go.
Okay, item number
Yeah.
2. Potential action following closed session.
I will make a motion that we allow ICAP to act on behalf of Carroll County to do a settlement with a cost of only for the county of $3,000 deductible.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to allow ICAP to make a settlement on behalf of Carroll County with Carroll County liable for the $3,000 deductible. Any more discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Should that be roll call?
Oh, I don't think so.
According
He
to-
said simple motion.
Okay.
Simple motion.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 3, approve payable $604,317.88. A lot of these go back to last year because they are accrued like power bills and whatnot. Anybody have any
I see a
questions?
few of these they're quarterly fund for next year, right? On some of these?
A lot of those were the, yes, fiscal year 26
26,
funding.
I see some of the fund 26 funding, yes.
Yeah, there was a lot of those checks.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Oh, I just have one question. Courtney, on this cone on the sheriff's, our general services, and it says for sheriff's annual maintenance. Shouldn't that be coming out of the sheriff's budget?
It's always came out of the courthouse.
Is that part of the locks on the jail is what it is?
No, it's the elevator.
Oh, it's the elevator. Okay. All right. That answers my question.
Okay, we have a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the payables.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve $604,317.88. All in favor? Aye.
Hey,
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 4, secondary roads, utility permit for fiber on the north side of 300 10th Street and on the east side of Velvet for Casey Mutual Telephone Company.
To interrupt you, I gotta step off. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
All right, thanks, Mike.
Good luck.
bye.
Yeah, thanks.
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning, guy.
Just one utility permit, like Scott said, this is for Casey Mutual Telephone, Union Section 15 and 22 for installing fiber. Nothing out of the ordinary of how we normally would install, how they would install by plow and then boring the appropriate intersections and pipe. But just connecting on to their existing system and extending. They're already east on 310th is where they're at, so they're extending west and south, so.
Down by Coon Rapids, correct?
Yeah,
About
just north of
10,000 feet, looks like here.
roughly. Any more questions?
No, I don't. No, we're good.
I'll make a motion to approve the utility permit.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. B is a drain number 45 in Jasper Township, section 9. Correct. So this is up, like you said, in Jasper, this actually inside the city limits of Lanesboro. But obviously there is drainage district tile that goes through Lanesboro. So just investigating, and there's a blockage or a crushed pipe somewhere in that area. We don't know exactly where, but have to do some digging and see what we can find. So been a couple years since we did anything really major extensive up there. So
Just looking at this aerial, don't you suspect it's probably tree roots?
definitely could be. I know there's been some change in that too from the aerial, so I don't exactly know what. I believe that house even there is not one of those houses there is going to be torn down at some point. So but it sure could be, Gene.
I was wondering, yeah, if you guy could just router it or something like that.
Well, potentially. I mean, depends on where it's at. We don't have that capability, so sometimes that becomes more expensive than just replacing a chunk.
How big a tile is that, you know?
I can't.
That's okay.
I thought it was like an 8, but I could be. I don't know.
I'm thinking that is, I remember, because we've had other issues up there
Mhm.
before.
So if weather allows, we hopefully will get up there this week yet, so. We're looking for approval of the drain in Lanesboro drain number 45.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 4C, department update. Not a whole lot here. We did get the pavement markings completed. They're done countywide, so that's been taken care of. Only other thing, we're still working through hiring process for our equipment operators. So did have some interviews and working through that. So hopefully we'll have some more on that here as the
Can you
week
get a
goes.
bunch of applications?
I think we had 13
That's
or
bad.
14, so not bad. I mean, we've had more, but it's not a bad thing, so.
Good candidates?
Yeah, pretty
Good.
good candidates.
Good.
So that's really all I got.
What's the
Any more
latest on the
questions?
box culverts?
What was that?
What's the latest on the box?
Haven't heard from the contractor at all, so I really don't know.
Is there a late start date on that?
There is, I don't have it in front of me, Gene, but I believe it'd probably be late September, I'm guessing. It's pretty late. But they get in and out pretty quick generally too, so I'm hoping they're here before that, but.
Okay, thank you. Item number 5, approve a plat requested by Craig Nielsen, owned by Virginia Struve on Birch Avenue, south of Manning. Thanks, Zach. Anybody have any questions on the plat?
No, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the plat.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 6, approve resolution 2025-017, authorizing sale of surplus radio equipment of 4 in-vehicle repeaters to Emmett County for $2,500 each. I think this is similar to what we did 2 weeks ago, unless these are the remainders, correct, Jason?
Yes.
Just hold the button down. There you
Got
go.
it.
Yeah, so, a few weeks ago, we did a similar resolution. Same surplus equipment, still part of inventory. I think at that time I reported that we had 17 or 18 that were purchased in the project. I have to make a correction on that. I found 9 and went, oh my God, where's the rest of them? And dug through some of our paperwork and our notes and things from the project, and there was a 0 cost change order to the county where we didn't ship all of that equipment because we didn't need it all. Turns out we didn't need any of it, but so we did say that in the project and got used for other expenses and got rotated in the project. So these 4 are the last of the inventory that we had shipped. And so if it's passed this resolution, that'll sell them to Emmett County and be done with that equipment.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve resolution 2025-017.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, Courtney?
Houseman,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Miners,
Yes.
McCray,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thanks.
Item number 7, communication center update.
Thank you. Some stats on it.
I'm like, oh, are you keeping that?
Okay.
So, a lot of numbers on here. I'll just kind of explain a little bit about what they are. The first box on the left-hand side says it's a radio system, operational push to box. I've given this stats to pass. That's the number of times on the radio system somebody keeps up their radio. So this was for this first half of the year, so January 1 until June 30th. We had a total of 105,000, almost 106,000 push to talks on the system, and that equaled 9,805 minutes of talk time. So that's transmissions that are primarily being sent and received by our dispatch center. You can see all the talk groups listed there. If there's any questions on as to what any of them are, some of them you'll see are school talk groups. 3 of the 4 community school districts in our district are on the system. And using that operationally daily, so that's a good thing if they have an emergency. We do have a new connection with the Carroll Community School District and the hospital. We put a radio in the comm center, partnered with them, they paid for the radio, we paid for the antenna. So that the comm center has connections to those two radio systems too, they run independent radio systems, so we can connect to them if we need to. But they're not part of the Essex system. The Zetron phone system is our 911 call taking equipment. It has a connection to the courthouse phone system, the city's phone system, and 911. See the call counts there. So received 2,100 911 calls during this period. So this is the first half of the year. Our average answer time is 5 seconds. That's pretty good. You'll see that it's pretty much 5 seconds on all of our lines there. Carroll PD inbound calls were 3,300. Their intercom calls, that could be a transfer from them, or it's them calling the comm center for various business, almost 2,000. The sheriff's office, 2,600 calls inbound for them. That figure is also going to include Manning and Coon Rapids calls when they call their police department. It gives the number to call us, so that could include some of their calls as well. And then their intercom calls 470. So really happy with all of those answer times. 5 seconds is pretty good on average. Our year over year 911 time to answer call analysis is pretty good. The NENA standard would be 90% of the calls answered in less than 15 seconds or less. We do that 95.4% of the time. The 20-second standard for NENA is 95 and we're at 98. So we're surpassing standard in those metrics. They don't have a metric for 30 seconds, but 99% of our calls are answered within 30 seconds. And you can see the year over year comparison there. Yeah, just a little bit longer on the 15-second and a little shorter on the 20-second time to answer. But really happy with those figures. The year over year call abandoned analysis. This figure is a little concerning to me. We are going down, which is a good trend. But we'd like to be in 5 to 8% range, rather in the, we're at 2024, we were at 14.7%. In 2025, we were at 11.7%. Down at the bottom, I've got some explanations about what could be going on there. It could be a situation of long wait times. That's going to need some further analysis and digging into the metrics to see if there are times of day when we have a longer wait times than what we would like. While the averages look good, we could find out that during some of our busiest times, we're not meeting the standards. It could be understaffing. I think you might have recalled during the budget season, we looked at that. A lot of centers our size do have quite more staff than we do. I don't know if that's the cause or not. High call volume. Again, that kind of goes in line with the long wait times. If people are waiting too long to get their call answered, they'll just stop, especially when it's an emergency. The person thinks the time is going by a lot quicker than what it actually is, and they get very frustrated and they can hang up. Missed dials or accidental calls could be part of it. I think that's probably what we see in the difference from last year. Last year about this time we were experiencing, or through this time period, we were experiencing a really high rate of 911 missed dials, and it was from software updates to both Androids and Apple for fall detection and things like that, where it was turned on by default with an update, and then people drop their purse and their phones in it, or it falls between the seats driving down the road, and it would call 911. It was just a little too sensitive, so the manufacturers made some adjustments to that. It's the last figure we have here. is the calls for service. I went back 5 years. You can see we're, for this year, we're abnormally low. For the trend over the last couple of years, we're more in line with 2022 and 2021 than we are 2024 and 2023. So I thought that was kind of interesting that we were down in the calls. Some of that is the amount of 911 hang-up calls, because if we get a 911 hang-up call, it generates a call for service. Dispatchers call it back. We have a fair amount of activity that we went through with that. So that could be some of it there. I'll entertain any questions over the stats and things we have.
Looks very good. Nice job, Jason.
I'd like to highlight a few things, activities that we've been doing in the comm center. The first is training and professional development. We maintain a regular online training schedule, which is an efficient way for us to do a lot of training. Listening to calls from other jurisdictions along with guided analysis of those calls is one of the big things we do. Additionally, in-person trainings are really valuable. Maggie Herds, our newest dispatcher, and she completed her 40-hour training with the Law Enforcement Academy in the last year, or last half a year, I guess. 3 of our dispatchers attended the APCO UNIT conference. The topics there were really good this year. One was a victim's plea. The Denise Amber Lee Foundation is an organization that was born out of a really bad call in Florida where a dispatcher made a mistake on an abduction case. She ended up murdered. There was really a missed opportunity to catch the guy while she was still alive, and they know that she was still alive. And the dispatcher made a mistake. And going through calls like this and a detailed analysis lets our dispatchers understand the importance of the job they do, helps them avoid complacency and look out for the people so that they don't become complacent and we don't have a similar incident. The other topic that we learned about was why they stay. It was centered around domestic violence. The presenter was a victim of domestic violence. And it offered great insight into the perspective of the victim. I think one of the things that frustrates all people in public safety is you deal with those same calls over and over, same people, and just kind of wonder, why don't they leave? Why don't they get out? And there's lots of reasons for that, and understanding that helps us with being compassionate with those callers. So I thought that was really good. Lisa Graves completed a 32-hour communications training officer course. So that's been really good to expand her knowledge. She has taken the lead on training new dispatchers for us. And I'll get a little bit more into that in a minute. I completed a 40-hour communications technician training course. That sets me on course to become credentialed in that area. 3 of our members attended an 8-hour in-service training in Fort Dodge in June. That was pretty good. One of the best, we had lots of different topics: canine demo, life flight, mental health, active shooter response. The most valuable was the 2 dispatchers that took the Perry school shooting call that were on shift that day when it kicked off and worked the entire incident. They had help that came in, but hearing the first hand account from them was really interesting. And I think really valuable for the dispatchers that attended. And it was great to have that firsthand account. We've stayed very plugged into how the Perry incident unfolded and the sort of things that we can do in our center to prepare for such a thing, if you ever really can. But we've got a lot of things in place that Dallas County had in place that day, and those things served them very well. So we're happy about that. I partnered with Carroll County Healthcare Coalition and Emergency Management this year. We started preparing about 5 months in advance for a communications exercise. We conducted that on June 10th. We simulated EMS to hospital communications. It was mainly a hospital exercise to allow them to practice using radios in lieu of instead of phones. Over the course of the last 25 years, a lot of patient reports have migrated from radio, which they used to do all the time. Gene, you probably remember a lot of radio reports for EMS. And they went to cell phones, a lot for privacy concerns. As well as, the VHF radios that previously were in use just weren't as good as cell phones. Now we've kind of come full circle. The radio system provides better coverage than cell phones do, especially in the back of an ambulance. The form factor of using a radio for the EMS provider is a little better than trying to dial a phone, you've got gloves on, touch screens, it could be a challenge. And what we know is that commercial cell phone networks are some of the first things to go down during a disaster. Whereas the SH radio system has a really good track record of being hit by disaster, tornadoes, derechos, and it keeps running. So it's not infallible, it could fail, but it's much more resilient than the commercial cell phone network. So there's an updated state EMS communications plan. I participate heavily in developing that. And then we did this exercise that helped them practice it. Simultaneously, while we were exercising with the hospitals, Jeff Cullen led a tabletop exercise with nursing homes and other healthcare providers. While they don't have radios, communication is still a concern during the disaster. And so they went through the motions of discussing what that might look like for them. So we're finishing up the after action report on that right now. So that will be valuable. If grant opportunities ever come up, we can use that after action report to prove a need. Grants always look more favorably on the need that's identified before the grant was announced, as opposed to the need that was identified after the grant's announced. We have some upcoming projects coming up. The City of Carroll's upgrading their phone system, so I'll be working with them. Our phone vendor will be working with them to make sure that that new phone system is able to integrate in the same way that their current phone system integrates with our communication center. Mike's not here, but Scott was there when we carried the console furniture down about a year ago. So it's still waiting.
What do you mean I was there? I helped.
But what's that?
I helped.
You did help.
I held the door.
That's right. But Mike and Cressy carried them down the stairs. That was impressive. They're big and heavy. So we did put a little bit of money into the budget for some electrical upgrades. We'll be working with that. We've got some computer refreshes that are gonna go on in concert with that. And we're gonna have to reorganize the furniture with the new stuff going in. And we have to keep the dispatch environment up wide the entire time we do the upgrade. So that'll be a coordinated effort that we'll be undertaking hopefully soon. And then the 911 fund is also working on the upgrade of the GAD server, backup GAD server that we have. It's about 7 or 8 years old, and that IT equipment is in need of refresh. Lastly, I want to mention some recognition and commendations that we've had within the dispatch center. I think I'm impressed upon you guys, but our dispatchers really go above and beyond regularly within our center, often without recognition. Everyone down there picks up extra shifts, covers for other people when they need to be gone. With 6 dispatchers and myself, that doesn't leave a lot of leeway when trying to cover 24 hours, 7 days a week. So our part-timer picks up a lot of hours whenever she can, working her full-time job and covering working evenings when she can, weekend shifts when she can. That's Amy Metering, and we appreciate her efforts with that. But she does have a 40-hour-a-week job and a family, so her ability to cover can be limited sometimes, and we understand that. The March blizzards were quite an event for us. You guys might recall 2 weeks apart. We're on a 2-week rotation, so the same dispatch crew pretty much got stacked with the same thing. So Casey Swanson, Lisa Graves, Maggie Hurd were the dispatchers involved with that, and myself to a lesser degree. Casey and Lisa both slept at the courthouse at different points to either because they couldn't get home or to be here for their shift. And I think that's commendable. We appreciate their efforts there. Our communication center, along with Clay County and Iowa DPS, was nominated for Teen Telecommunicator of the Year at the APCO conference. That was a reference to the response to Spencer. Ultimately, somebody else won out, but we were honored to be nominated for that. And as you remember, Dallas Chargo, our lead dispatcher, was camping up in, up at the Great Lakes and left his wife and dogs and came down and helped with that effort. So he was part of that effort. I am very proud to announce that Lisa Graves was awarded the State Communications Training Officer of the Year Award at the conference. Lisa did an excellent job of updating our training program. She did it twice. Gave it to us kind of adapted another center's training program to our center. Pressed into service early and then immediately started to critique how it went with training that dispatcher and revamped the whole thing before we trained another dispatcher. And she just did an excellent job and she really puts a lot of effort and pride into that training effort. And so very pleased that she was able to be awarded that award and receive that recognition. Samantha Rollback and Amber Cook are two more of our dispatchers. They dealt with a very serious incident where a caller posed a threat to both the public and public safety responders. They did an excellent job protecting our responders and the public. And Samantha Rollback received a letter of commendation for her taking of that phone call. It wasn't the first time she dealt with that individual in crisis, and she did a very good job of taking that call and making sure that the vital information that was important to responder safety got quickly passed along. And so we're very proud of her for that. As you know, the communication center is committed, skilled, and continually improving. And I hope that's what this information leaves you with today, and I'll take any questions.
No, but Jason, I want to commend you. You run a phenomenal department.
Yes.
You really do.
Thank you.
Well,
And I appreciate the update.
the dispatchers are really the unsung heroes of that. They make me look good, honestly. I am not exaggerating when I tell you. I've said this before in the past, and then we just keep getting better. This is the best group of dispatchers I've ever worked with in my career, in the profession for over 20 years. I would absolutely put our center up against anybody our size and a lot of people that are bigger than us. We take a pride in training. We take a pride in providing good service to the public and to our public safety responders. There's always room for us to get better, but they do an excellent job.
I listened Friday morning and that sounded very controlled on that Highway 71 thing.
Yes.
And then do you put out a notice of closure, like when Highway 71 was closed?
We notify the DOT and then they do things like updating the map and things.
I saw the city of Carroll put something out on their Facebook.
It's kind of something they did to kind of help.
And their, well, one of their officers was up there blocking it.
Two of their officers went up and assisted the traffic control. That one of the things that I've worked with Jamie on quite a bit is we've really stepped up our game in requesting a helicopter for traumas early and often. For years, we've heard from the air ambulance services that if they don't transport, they'll charge. So they want us to call them. They will come and hover above our scene and leave, and there's no hard feelings, and they're not upset about it. Their pilots have to get hours in anyway. They'll land and assist, and if they don't fly the patient, they don't charge. So the golden hour they speak about in EMS from the time the incident happens to get somebody to a level 1 trauma center is really important. Jamie agrees, and so we started to request that helicopter service early and often. Unfortunately, on Friday, the weather, they tried for 3 different helicopters, all 3 of them declined for weather. So they have to do what they have to do to be safe.
So that makes a big difference, and you got a helicopter service real close to us now.
Well, we got one in Audubon. Fort Dodge is the second closest. Des Moines has a couple, so they're close. The third closest, I guess. And it's really about patient care, and that's what Jamie and I have talked about. there was an accident down by Dedham. I'm really proud to report that from the time the dispatcher received the call until Life Flight landed on scene was 24 minutes. Now, that seems like a long time, but when you consider that the drive time and everything else that it takes for an ambulance to get there, on a remote, rural road, that's a pretty good response time.
It's quick.
And the helicopter was actually on scene for longer than it took them to get there after the call. And that doesn't include the time it took to process the call. Lifeline isn't the first call we make it early, but we send the ground responders first. And so we're able to do that so quickly because of the ISIX radio system, by the way. Our dispatch center was the first in the state to request a medical helicopter by radio through ISIX. And after we did that, it was Dallas Chargo was working that day. Needed a helicopter in a hurry and went, oh, geez, I think they have a radio. He called Iowa Methodist and requested Life Flight. And they were, I think it was after that, there was 3 other requests that weekend from other centers that went, oh,
Didn't know we did that.
we can do that too. And so that has really been a real nice thing that we can do because it allows us to multitask quicker. Multitasking is kind of a misnomer. We're really doing lots of stuff in quick succession. And push to talk allows us to process other information, switch between conversations quickly. And so by being able to do that and communicate with them over the ISIX radio system is very beneficial. We can also do that with the National Weather Service too during severe weather. So it's been a real benefit.
You guys are invisible, but we appreciate all you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jason.
Item number 8, committee reports.
I can go. Tuesday, I had a conference board meeting. Scott and I attended the conference board meeting and then had an interview with the Daily Times Herald on our opioid team we have. Talked with Maggie Pauley, sent her an email Friday, and we've only got 1 application, so that's kind of disappointing. Hopefully the word gets out there and we get more applications. And then Thursday evening, had a Region 12 policy meeting. Friday, I attended the Chamber Coffee at the Carroll National. And then Saturday, I headed up to Coon Rapids to the state fair, county fair. I want to shout out to the volunteers and the board. They do a fantastic job there. It was very well attended when I was there Saturday, and it was quite a thing. And they had a problem, I guess. Carnival didn't show up, so they had to multitask quickly and get us some bunch of inflatable set up for all the kids to play on. So they did a nice job. I mean, for short notice they had. Today, I've got a Carroll area child care meeting, and that's all I have for the week.
I can go next. I was not able to attend the conference board meeting due to a funeral. And Thursday I did attend this CCGP executive board meeting. This week we have a CCGP regular board meeting on Tuesday. And then Friday, hopefully I'm gonna try to catch coffee Friday. And then Friday I have to be in Cherokee for the Yes Center.
Go next. Last week, Monday, I went out to Rhodes and reviewed the claims. Tuesday at noon was conference board meeting. Mark mentioned we approved the budget amendment. Wednesday, went to the ambulance department and to review and sign the new roof contract that we approved prior. Thursday, Region 12 Policy Council, and Thursday, I also went down to the Carroll County Fair. And looked at all the livestock, and same thing you probably did, Mark. Friday, reviewed courthouse claim. Helped Emily with today's agenda and closed session. Did go to the Chamber Coffee at Carroll National this week. Tomorrow, executive board meeting at the landfill tomorrow morning at noon is CCGP. And Friday is the Chamber Coffee for Allen Distributing 75 years. Oh.
I will
go. I was gone last week, but the week prior I did have a WESCO meeting, and our main focus is trying to get more people involved through that board. Just like any
the
other.
board volunteers is hard to come by. This upcoming week, I have newspaper radio, and then I am gonna try to attend the Chamber Coffee on Friday.
Any questions or comments from those in attendance? Courtney next week.
have anything right now.
Okay,
I'll make a motion adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, we are adjourned, 10:15.
Like your favorite supervisor's got in there. Give him a sec.